So I've always preferred a workspace setup that I can quickly pack up and carry around with me at a moment's notice. So I decided to build a setup powered by my M1 Max MacBook Pro. My goal for this setup is to be able to connect my MacBook to my workspace and immediately have a fully functioning setup, and also to be able to disconnect it and bring my work along with me wherever. I also wanted a clean, minimalist workspace setup free of mess and clutter. What's going on, everyone? It's Midas here, and in this video I'll be taking you through a complete tour of my modern minimalist mobile workspace setup. You may wonder why I call it mobile. Well, that's because this setup is powered by the 2021 M1 Max MacBook Pro, and I don't need to remind some of you how powerful this laptop is, but it's still a handy laptop, which makes the entire setup mobile. I deal with video editing, graphics, and similar work with my setup, so I opted for a MacBook Pro to do most of my work due to how fluid it works with my iPhone and my preference for working with Final Cut Pro X and Motion, which are both Mac only applications I use quite a lot. Okay, let's jump right into it. Let's talk about the desk. The desk is a sit stand style that actually comes in two parts, the frame and the tabletop. You can buy some of these sit stand desks with both the frame and the tabletop together, but that's not what I did. I scoured the web for the best deal that I could find for standing desk frames and eventually found a really nice one from a Canadian company called Motion Gray. This standing desk frame can be lowered down to 23.6 inches and be raised up to 49 inches, which is plenty of range for any sit-stand working condition. It's also expandable horizontally to fit any tabletop size. I went for this desk frame for future-proofing. This is for in case I decide to switch to a wider tabletop setup at any time. The frame by itself cost me $357 Canadian at the time I bought it. I bought a 55 by 24 inch tabletop from IKEA in white for $40 and mounted it to the top of the frame. The entire setup process was quite quick and easy. There's a control hub which you can install on any part of the front side of the tabletop, but I'll advise keeping it to one of the edges so it's out of the way. You can program 4 different heights with the control hub for the frame to remember. I only use 2 for this table. One for when I'm working sitting down and another for when I'm working standing up. I opted for black for the frame and white for the tabletop to fit my simple, minimalist, and wood-themed aesthetic. I'm confident the desk frame is made from high-quality stuff and can hold a serious amount of load. So far, I've had no issues with it and it's been really great. Next up, we'll work our way from left to right on the tabletop. First, we have the IoT Ion Wireless Dual Fast Charger. I bought this from the Google store as I had initially planned on getting the Google Pixel 6 Pro, but ended up not going through with that plan. It's a key wireless charger capable of powering 2 devices at the same time. It works great with my iPhone 13 Pro Max and charges very quickly. It still doesn't beat charging using the fast charging cable, but I love it. It also has a nice cloth finish, which I find very appealing. Next up is Apple's HomePod Mini in space gray. I added this to my desk because I enjoy listening to music during my long editing sessions. This little guy sounds amazing in a small office space like this one.
I don't catch feelings, I'm catching my flights. They was done in the dark, work on the light, sipping on gin, reminiscing all night.
It also works very well in my workflow since I use a MacBook and an iPhone for all things work related. It's got a small footprint and doesn't dominate the workspace, which I love for this setup. It also has Siri for voice control, which comes in handy when controlling my desk LEDs and other smart devices around. Turn on desk light. To the right, we have my monitor hanging off the monitor desk mount. The monitor is an LG 34-inch curved screen ultra-wide with USB-C port for data transfer, display, and 96-watt power delivery. This just means I can charge the laptop and project it onto the monitor using a single USB-C cable between both. The single cable connection and single screen setup reduces clutter and leaves a cleaner look. The monitor comes with the desk mount called the Ergo Stand, which saved me the money I would have had to spend on a separate desk mount. The Ergo Stand is amazing and holds the monitor with ease. As expected, it moves in just about every direction you can think of and has a channel for running cables to hide them and provide a clean look. And to be honest, I think LG could sell this mount as a standalone accessory for any monitor. It also has some inbuilt speakers, which from my test didn't work well through USB-C.
keep the audience guessing and keep drop them in, making the image.
But apparently it's supposed to work through DisplayPort according to what the Mac is saying. The monitor has a 95% wide color gamut with HDR10, which is great for getting nice and accurate colors for video and photo editing. It also has a display resolution of 3440 by 1440, which is great for placing about 2 programs side by side. It has 2 HDMI 2.0 inputs, 2 USB ports, and 1 DisplayPort for different display connection types. It's definitely been proven to be a solid addition to this setup since I've had it. Next to it is my mic and my boom arm. For my mic setup, I opted for a clean and modern look where the cables, cloud lifter, and the audio interface were all out of sight. I did some research and found this Throne Max mic boom arm for a decent price. It's a 2-part mic boom arm with a desk clamp and a mic arm that fits seamlessly with each other. It also has a clip-on cable management path for hiding away the mic cable, which is great for my clean aesthetic. There's one cable going from the mic to the cloud lifter under the desk, and from that there's another cable going to the Scarlett 2i2 audio interface. The Scarlett 2i2 then connects to the monitor via USB cable. It's definitely a solid build from the way it feels and holds a good amount of weight as well. I can confirm it holds the Shure SM7B effortlessly at the very least. The mic attached to the boom arm is the Shure SM7B dynamic microphone, which I use for all of my voice work. It's probably one of the best microphones out there and is used by a lot of people for all kinds of voice work. The sound you get from it is amazing and definitely the best I've heard. The all black look also works very well with my overall aesthetic, which is very satisfying. It's not a cheap mic and you need to get a cloud lifter to go with it for the best sound, as well as an audio interface to even use it at all. Overall, it's an expensive package deal, but it's certainly worth it. Next to the mic setup, we've got the overpriced machine that's powering the entire setup. The laptop is the recently released 2021 16-inch M1 Max MacBook Pro. This laptop might as well have cost me an arm and a leg, but it was necessary for the work I do. It's insane for video editing, especially if you already work with Final Cut Pro X, which I do. It's also got 64 gigabytes of unified RAM, which translates to a fast machine. I did go for the smallest storage option at 1 terabyte since I have an external SSD that I use strictly for editing, and it works great. I also back up all my projects and old videos onto my own DIY cloud storage, which I built for this purpose. Check out the video at the top of the screen to find out how I've built that. I ordered some space gray carbon fiber stickers from D Brands to give the laptop some texture. I also did the same with my iPhone to create a matching look, and I think it's fire. What can I say? I love carbon fiber texture a lot. I think they both look good and the space gray fits in very well with the desk setup aesthetic. The laptop is in clamshell mode, sitting in a vertical laptop stand that I picked up on Amazon. I got it in matte black to fit into the aesthetic of the desk. The stand holds a 16-inch MacBook Pro with silicone pads that securely grip onto the bottom of the laptop. It also has rubber feet, which keeps it in place on the desk. I love how much space it's created on my desk and how much cleaner it makes the desk look. My keyboard is the Keychron K2 version 2 hot swappable edition with brown switches. I love the sound and feel of mechanical keyboards, and this one is affordable and already has Mac keyboard layout. It basically checked off everything I was looking for in a keyboard and more. I love the different RGB mode for backlighting, and the 10 keyless layout makes it very portable and easy to carry around. I've had it for over 2 months now and only had to charge it once, so I'd say the battery life is solid. I also got the Keychron wooden palm rest to go with the keyboard to protect my wrist. Based on my experience so far, it works very well with the keyboard for long typing sessions. The only thing I don't like is how Bluetooth mode is delayed while trying to connect after being away from the desk for a while. I want to keep my desk clean and cable free, so a Bluetooth keyboard is absolutely necessary. To pair with the keyboard, I opted for the mouse you've probably seen and heard about too many times now. This is the Logitech MX Master 3. If you know of this mouse, then you know how ridiculously good it is, especially for video work where you have to scroll through timelines a lot. It's very ergonomic and great to use for long hours, at least from my experience with it so far. There's a bunch of programmable buttons on the mouse which you can map to different things using Logitech's software. One of my favorite features is the vertical scroll wheel, which has come in handy quite a lot already. I ordered a generic gliding wrist pad from Amazon to use with the mouse. It takes some getting used to, but I like the feel of it and how much it helps my wrist during long work sessions. I picked up a space gray felt underneath the keyboard and mouse from Etsy. I liked the material, but it kept getting pulled and caught by my mouse, which eventually became annoying to deal with while editing. I ended up picking up a Corsair non-slip rubber mouse pad and placed it on one end of the felt mat. There's a little bump between the felt and mouse pad, which was a little annoying at first, but I've gotten used to it now. I might end up looking for a larger desk mat to replace these two. I do love the colors of both and how well they stand out on top of the table. I got the all black Ergo Chair Pro Plus from Autonomous as my ergonomic desk chair. It's a frameless chair that adjusts and moves in virtually every direction to meet different needs. You can twist around, lean far back, adjust armrest position vertically and horizontally, and increase and reduce the seat height and depth. There's two options for the backrest. The naked TPE, which has no mesh and can be cooled to the touch, and the mesh covered TPE. I opted for the breathable mesh option for the look and feel, and I'm happy I did. It's been a nice chair so far and has done wonders for my spine and back health. To the left of the desk, I have all my most used camera gear on display for easy access. Things like my batteries, my mic, cameras, motors, and D filters, and my Autonomous monitor all reside on top of my Alex drawer. I needed somewhere to store small items, and the Alex drawer always looks great next to any desk. I got it in white to keep the aesthetic from the desk going and to allow the camera gear to stand out. It also serves as storage for a bunch of things I use in my day-to-day activities. Above my desk in the Alex drawer, I've installed some Nanoleaf Elements decor and lighting combo. I've got the main 7-pack kit as well as a 6-pack extension kit installed at a good height above my desk to avoid hiding them completely when working standing. I wanted something less RGB and more minimal, and so these fit the bill perfectly. The wood theme of the elements somewhat fit well with my wood slat wall design to the right of my desk setup. In the daytime, they look more like wooden wall decor, and at night they come alive and light up the entire space. They work very well and can even be voice controlled by Siri, Alexa, and Google Home. My favorite feature to use is the music mode, which makes them react to any sound. Each panel also reacts to touch, so when you touch each one, it gets brighter, which I think is really cool. Nanoleaf also has an app that allows you to set up scenes and a bunch of other stuff. It even lets you use circadian lighting, which basically lights up the panels from white to orange according to the rising and setting of the sun. I love the panels from Nanoleaf so much that I had to get a smart LED strip for my desk from the company as well. I've always used generic LED strips from Amazon and always hated how cheaply made they felt. It costs more to buy less of the Nanoleaf LED strips, but trust me, it's worth it. I used that strip to create some backlighting for my desk, and I don't think I'll be needing any more desk lighting after that. Above the Nanoleaf Elements, I installed a black picture shelf from IKEA. Currently, I've got a couple of fake plants, my YouTube silver play button for my other channel, and a disassembled and framed iPhone 4S, which I think is perfect for this M1 MacBook setup. I'd like to give a shout out to XReArt for sending out this beautiful frame for me to add to my setup. If you're interested in getting this piece or something similar, you should definitely check out the link I've added in the description. Everything on that top shelf adds some personal touch to the space. I've kept the bottom of the desk free and clear of things so my legs can experience unobstructed motion. I've done everything within my power to hide cables and power boxes through careful cable management under the desk. I installed a black cable tray to hold power boxes and hide cables at the same time. And I've used a J channel to keep cables from sagging under the table as well as on the other side of the cable tray. I hate the look of cables in a crowded desk, so I've attached a few other things to the bottom of the table to keep the desk clean and free. Overall, I think I've done a pretty good job managing cables and keeping the desk set up clean and free of unnecessary items. In the end, I'm happy with this setup and it provides everything I need from a mobile workspace. Comment what you think about this setup down below, and if you have any questions about any of the items I've mentioned, drop it down below as well. I'll leave links in the description box for everything I have in this setup. Make sure to use those links if you're interested in checking prices or purchasing anything. I hope you enjoyed the setup tour. If you did, hit the like button, consider subscribing as well if you're new here, and click on the gold bell icon next to the subscribe button to turn on notifications. I'll catch you all in my next video. It's Midas, and I'm out.
I love it when you kiss.